Yes, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Bootcast podcast. I'm your host, Justin, better known as the Texas Cleat Collector. I'm here with my friend and fellow co-host, as always, Colby. Colby, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Finally got a pair of Preds.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I really like them, dude. Crazy story about these is that I actually ordered two pairs.
Okay.
Both from Dick's Sporting Goods,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Because I said this in the last podcast, is they were sub $200, about $192. Ordered one pair on Dick's, and then next day flash sale, so it went from $192 to like $150 maybe.
Okay.
So I just pulled the trigger twice. So in my box for my first pair, I got these.
Oh.
Yes. So to me, who doesn't have anything to compare this to, right? This is a fake. So
It's a pretty convincing fake.
it's so convincing. And I was like, I don't know, like what the hype's about. I guess they gave me an FT model. It's got the strike skin. It says Hybrid Touch 2.0. Like it looks pretty legit. The strap, you've got the Predator here.
Yeah. You got the Adidas.
Adidas there.
You got the established.
And like sole plate, just like, okay, looks good enough.
Yeah, shiny.
But
Oh, we got technical lift. Look at these guys.
okay, but when you compare them to the real Pred, right? It's like it's so different.
It's night and day.
Yeah, it's night and day, and I would have no idea. So if I was just Joe Schmo or whoever, like I'd have no idea. I'd just think like, oh, okay, they just gave me an FT model. But yeah, you can see even where it's hard on the camera, but where that Predator lines up, slightly different. If you look inside, so these are made in, I believe, the real pair is made in Indonesia, and the fakes were from Bosnia. So, and the fakes actually as well are, I want to say, if you look at the date, it's March of 2021.
So a little too early. A little too early.
A few years, just a few years. So yeah, so interesting experience. I actually had to call Dick's customer service because I was like, hey, I'm going to return these, but like, please don't resell them to somebody because somebody's going to do the same exact thing. They're going to pay some money, think that they got, maybe the FT model, and it's going to probably fall apart on them. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, Dick's was cool about it, obviously. I think
yeah, they were cool. They gave me 600 points, which that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dick's points are weird though. I think they mail them to you and you can take them to your local store for like $20, but whatever.
Refund you?
Yeah, they're going to refund me. I still have to take them back, but I wanted to save these
for the
cool podcast.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, that's wild. Like, obviously, to the untrained eye, like, if you just kind of flash, I was like, hey, I got a tongue pair, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I got one of those.
Yeah, it's wild. So,
okay, well, throwing the fakes aside, have you used the, because I'm a tongue guy. You got the regular tongue. Have you used them yet?
This.
Yeah, tell us about it, because you haven't experienced the Pred yet. You're kind of late to the party.
Yeah, I'm late to the party. I love this sole plate. I played it in pickup yesterday for about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to be an idiot like Justin. I'm not going to get these nasty foot blisters that I have to, show everybody. I got some foot blisters.
Hell yeah. See?
Yeah. I didn't want to take them off. They were so awesome. A little bit of heel slippage.
Okay.
But not too bad. It wraps the foot really well. I love the sole plate. And I know Lockhart's talked about how the GX2 sole plate is cheese. I just didn't really have, another control boot per se to compare them to, but Pred sole plate destroys this any day of the week. Obviously, this is the AG pair of GX2s. And in terms of like Hybrid Touch 2.0, not bad. Really not bad. Strike skin, I didn't, curl any balls for a cross, for a corner or anything, but I will, I actually hardly noticed it. The only times I really noticed is if I'm receiving a ball and I kind of pull it back, if there's a defender coming at me, like that's where it's actually really nice to have something like that. But yeah, I love it. I may actually like it. I mean, it's really apples and oranges, right? So this, I mean, you're going to get comfort, grip elements all around the boot. But here it's just much closer fit, better sole plates. Yeah, it's kind of just to your preference.
Besides the heel slippage, did you have any like hot spots, or did you have anywhere that you felt like the boot was overall like you're like, this is gonna take a minute?
Yeah, I definitely had some hot spots on my heel.
Okay.
So here and then on my left side, kind of like out on the side there, I was just like, when are these? How long are these gonna take to stretch? Because the material's awesome. I wish it just gave a little bit more. And I know that you and I talked about off podcast the precision ones that they made, ones that they made about a year ago. The Hybrid Touch 2.0 on that was a little bit more cushy, a little bit more soft, and gave a little bit more. Yeah, those.
Yeah. See, that's what I was kind of telling you. The OG Hybrid Touch is a little bit more. I don't know if plush is the right word, but it's definitely got some body to it compared to the Hybrid Touch 2.0. The Hybrid Touch 2.0 is very thin.
Yeah, which gives you a better feel on the ball, and I did feel like I had better control.
Okay.
So yeah, I like it. I'm gonna take them out for another session when I get a chance. So
how did you feel about the regular tongue? Was it slipping on you at all? I mean, I know a lot of people have issues, and they kind of sit weird.
So you know how the regular Copa Pure 2 is just a regular standard tongue. I noticed that thing a ton, and I'd push it over to the side. This, it's like the perfect amount of tongue. It's like it doesn't go up too high, and I think it...
Isn't it kind of wider too? Like, doesn't it flare out?
It flares a little bit. So if you pull it out, I'm doing a terrible job here, but if you pull it out, it does flare. But I didn't even have to do that because it really stays secure, and it's like it's just right across the very back of your foot. So it's not like it's going up like on your leg or anything. So I love it, dude. I understand now. I understand what all the hype is about.
It's almost like it looks like a faux burrito tongue. Like, you know, it kind of does the arch over like a burrito tongue, but it's not a stupid burrito tongue.
Don't put the burrito tongue in my head, because we all know that I can't stand those.
I don't think besides Messi, I don't think anyone likes a burrito tongue.
I think Declan Rice has like a variation of the burrito tongue. On his Copa Pure. I think he has like a Copa Pure 2 Plus, so there's like some knit, but then on the medial side, it rolls in like that. So it's almost like you can see knit on the lateral, and then... I'm
pretty sure he wears a Copa 19 and 20 disguised as a Copa Pure, which would explain that weird burrito tongue.
Yeah, which I think we saw. They made him a custom pair for England, and we saw that a little bit in this pick, so that was kind of cool.
I mean, they hide it really well. Okay, so speaking of Preds, who is your number 18 favorite player of all time? Because it's the 18th podcast.
Speaking of Preds.
Yeah, exactly.
Good segue, Justin. I did some research before the podcast, and just in case this whole show tanks before we get high enough and I can't pick Trent as a 66th episode, Trent Alexander-Arnold did wear the number 18 for England, so I got to go with my boy Trent.
Okay.
One of the best right backs on the pitch when fit, because he's been struggling with injury a little bit. So
okay. Now before I tell you mine, I want to just jump right into this and segue from Trent. Tomorrow, supposedly for sure, Adidas is dropping the Trent boots. Okay, now you have been borderline blowing up and harassing me about these boots since you first saw that Trent had them and he first was unveiled. I think it was against Man City. So the question is, from what I've seen, I think it's going to be around the same price as all the other colorways, so probably $300. Are you going to pull the trigger and buy the Trent pair?
Yes, especially now that I've actually tried these.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to wear them?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna be nervous, dude. That's odd. Have you ever? Oh, well, obviously you have a million boots. Have you bought a pair of boots that you just could not put on your feet to wear?
To actually wear?
Like, have you tried?
Yeah. Let me go grab them. I'm gonna show you. Keep talking. Let me go. I'm gonna grab the pair that I won't. I refuse to wear until there's two pairs. Let me go grab them. I'll tell you what. Now. Okay.
It's gonna be. Yep.
So if you know me, then the first pair makes sense just because I'm really big on. There's certain pieces where I'm like, I want to wear them, but unless I have a second pair, to wear, I won't wear them. Like, I just refuse. So number 1 is like one of my Grail pairs, the Mania remake in the red. I just love this boot, and it feels so comfortable. I've put it on, but I won't wear it because this one's like super rare. And I want the Japan blues. So that's the Grail pair, is the Japan blues. But the one pair I just can't wear because it's just too much, and I'm not that good of a player, is these.
Oh, yes.
The Zidans. I got these for a steal, like literally below retail, but I'm not a gold guy.
I remember when you got those.
Yeah, I think
you got
we
those from soccer.com like a year after they came out or something.
Yeah, I got them. And I got them for like $200. But
yeah, and I was like, dude, they still have those?
Yeah. So this is just like I love this pair. I think it's so cool, but like I'm just not like man enough to wear this. Like I would give it so much disrespect. So those are my Grail pairs. Like they sit in a box with my other Grail pairs tucked away nicely. But so 2 updates for me. So number 1, my number 18, I could say Paul Scholes. That's like the easy one, and I think everybody who knows me would be like, "Oh, he's gonna pick Scholes." But actually, I'm gonna pick Tchouaméni from Real Madrid.
Oh, that's a good choice.
I absolutely love that dude. I started watching him probably maybe World Cup is when I really started watching him, and I was just really impressed. He plays the DM, and it's such a smart position, and he's such a smart player. And he had an insane goal this past weekend. So that's my number 18. Aurelien Tchouaméni, absolute baller. Other small update. These right here, still the best, bro. Still the best. And I'm gonna gloat, especially because of Julio. Like I do think I'm hot shit because of these boots. Like
this guy's
love these.
Such a Rotero elitist,
dude.
Julio.
I am
this guy.
This is me drinking the punch even more. Like you just drank the Predator punch. I'm like, the leather is so comfortable, bro. They're so good.
Yeah. Do you think? Okay, so they said that Adidas said they're not going to make any more Fusion skin uppers for any more Preds in the next generation after these. Do you think that will be a plus model?
No. I don't.
No.
I think I told you before that this Pred is a really weird one, and I think that the whole point of this Pred is pure nostalgia. I think it's supposed to bring nostalgia almost to a modern, so I think that's why they're doing that. And I think that the Rotero they just kind of wanted to set apart, especially. I don't think that we'll see probably another Fusion skin Predator until the next World Cup. I think when the next World Cup comes out, I think they'll have a throwback pair, and I think that might be when they bring it back.
I almost wonder if they weren't expecting people to love. I think they just threw it in as like a, hey, this is what's going to set the Rotero apart from some other Preds, and I don't think they expected how much people actually love this boot and are hyping up this boot. So maybe that's something that they take and make a few variations. Hopefully they'll do it before the next World Cup, but. Like even like say this Pred generation, they're just going to do it with this one. Maybe they'll do it on 4, and that will get them to sell out even quicker. Adidas is getting so smart with how they're getting these to sell out through nostalgia.
Oh, for sure.
So.
Well, it's crazy too, and it's like, I mean, we know that the Japan Blues are on the horizon. Like you've seen the leaks, I've seen the leaks. I'm sure anybody who watches this has probably seen the leaks, and I think that one would be another good one to do. Fusion skin, but I just think, like you said, to me, part of me wonders if the Fusion skin part of this was kind of almost like the afterthought.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Too.
They're just like,
I don't think they thought it was going to be a big hit.
Yeah, I don't think so, because it wasn't a big hit. The Rotero was not catching on to a lot of people until people found out it was leather, and then all of a sudden everybody wanted it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm still not really a fan of that colorway. I don't like the split. Like I don't like that.
Oh yeah. See, and I'm like weird, and that's like one of my favorite things.
That's probably why I like this colorway so much, because it's just so like the laces, the tongue, everything except for the stripes is just
so
same.
orange.
So orange. I love it. And normally I like a white base, but I love these boots. I love this colorway.
I'm glad that you are enjoying the Preds, because I was really worried they weren't going to fit. I told you that from the get-go. I didn't think they were going to fit.
I made them fit. I have a nasty blister on my pinky toe, but I made it. I will chop it off and put these back on.
Yeah, boy. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. We're talking about the Trents.
Yep.
We've addressed this before, but now that we know that they're coming, I saw. I can't think of the company that made the original pair, but they came out and they put out a statement that basically said, "Guys, for us, it was a one of one pair. Adidas made this without asking us, without consulting us. So like, please, And they're the ones who originally said, "Hey, the Trents aren't coming out." So as a consumer, because you're going to buy those, like I'm not going to buy the Trent pair. I don't really have that desire.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? Are you excited? Are you annoyed? Like, where is your head at with this whole thing?
Honestly, I don't want to say I don't care. I feel for that company. I think it's kind of shitty of Adidas to have done something like that. So like essentially they make them look like a liar, which, at the time they were given the information that they were given, right? I was going to hold strong. Like I was going to be like, you know what, if these come out, I already have a pair of Preds. I could just save my money. I could probably get a pair of Tequelos and probably another pair of Preds on discount instead of getting this one pair of shoes. And then there I was watching the Liverpool game against Crystal Palace, in which we, still lost. But our right back got injured. Trent came on in the boots. I saw them again. And there's almost an emotional connection.
Is there?
Between myself and those boots, where it doesn't matter what the background is. It's just shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just shut up and take my money, and that's the truth on that.
I love and respect that you own up to that. I think that the interesting thing too, when you think about this whole situation, is with products in general and consumerism. A big thing people always say is vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet. Vote. People are like, if you don't want to pay these prices, don't pay them. You gotta wait. Blah 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 blah. I think that it's insane that Adidas genuinely had no plans on making this boot at all. It was just supposed to be for Trent. Like, hey, cool, you're Adidas. Yeah. It's Liverpool colors, awesome. And I think that the way that they've seen every single FT model sell out instantly, and then along with that, everybody and their mom is sending DMs flooding Adidas, like, where are the Trents, and this is one of those times where I think that the consumer has pushed so hard and is so vocally loud that Adidas is like, all right, we'll give you the boots, like, chill out.
Yeah.
And I think it's super cool because like that's very rare that something like this happens.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as we know,
that's kind of cool. Power of the people, basically, right?
For
to
sure.
Say like, hey, we actually like that colorway. Make more of that. Because Nike, well, maybe not Nike. Sometimes they'll do when a player scores like their 100th, goal of the Premier. Like with Harry Kane, they gave him a special pair of was it GT2s? I think it was GT2s, and those looked really good. Trying to remember what that was for. It was like for some milestone or a golden boot or something. But man, like if I could get my hands on a pair of those, and it's like maybe if the consumer could push more for certain colorways that are cool, but they're made for just certain players. They made Adidas did one for Jude Bellingham that was like a whitish pink.
Yeah.
It was like Golden Boy Award or something like that. So, like it would be really cool if consumers could just say, hey, that one model you did for that one player, I would love it if we could just push that out into the mainstream.
Yeah, I think the only other time, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, is when Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or and he had the rare gold colorway that was on the Superfly 4. I think that's the only time I've ever seen like consumers push so hard and almost force a brand's hand. So like, all right, we'll make we weren't going to make these, but sure, we'll make them. And they're going to sell out. And I guarantee you the Trents are going to sell out within seconds, like everything else.
I know. I got to be so ready tomorrow.
Yeah. You got to be up at like 2
a.m. You catch me on the next podcast.
Yeah. You better be hyped.
I got to rep. I know.
Okay. So you're wearing the Preds as of now. You love them. I'm wearing the Roteros as of now. I absolutely love them. And then in other news, we talked about last week that Unisport was doing a collab with New Balance.
Right.
And it ended up being the Furon, which we were both wrong. We thought it was going to be the Tequila.
Best guesses, right?
Yeah, educated guess. So now that boot's kind of come out, it's settled down a little bit. Like, how are you kind of feeling towards it? Because I'm not going to lie, I was kind of like, Yeah.
I hate to say it, I'm underwhelmed. I don't know exactly what the narrative was behind it. I saw the boot and I was like, nah, pass. I think it was called the Synced or something.
Yeah, and I think it's like the ribbons. Like I don't know what you're synced to. Maybe the boots in
right.
you.
And to be honest with you, and I'm sure you're like this too, I've never been sold on the like narrative storyline of boots. Like, oh, it represents this and the connection between the stars and the moon. Like, I don't really fall into that category. Like, yeah, nostalgia purposes, like Adidas doing, where they're taking like iconic colorways and sort of redoing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but I mean, I don't know who this boot is for, if I'm being honest. When you're collabing with Unisport, like surely you're hoping that it's being promoted by them, being promoted on their Instagram, being promoted on their YouTube. So you're hoping to get some sales numbers there. But I don't really care about that boot. It would have been cool if you did it in Tequila. It would be cool if it was more plain, which I know if you're doing a collab, you want a lot of things going on. Mm-hmm. Like, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, the boots, it's okay. It's fine. I think it's like limited to like 25 pairs anyway, so it's one of those weird Unisports. The thing I'll give is, and I'm like you, I don't buy into like the story. I think it's clever and it's great marketing. I think the only time I've ever actually bought into a story was the 2010 Nike World Cup pack where they're like, hey, we use these two color, that's probably the only time I've ever been like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always applaud Unisport because I think that their collabs are always kind of out there, and it's something that you wouldn't normally see from a brand, whether it was like the city pack, that ran out of ink one, the astronaut cool one. Like, we love some of those ones, and they looked awesome. But this one, I'm like, it's kind of a lame story to me. The green, I think that emerald green is a beautiful green. I think they chose a really good green, but it's just overall, it's just like, it's a Furon. Yeah, I don't really care about the Furon. I don't really care about this Furon either. So it's fine if you like it and you want it. Cool. If you're a Unisport collector, cool. Like, again, it's cool to slap your name on stuff, but it's just not a boot for me.
Yeah, and New Balance they're doing a lot of things right, but I also think that they're doing. I think what they've made in the Furon and the Tequila, as we've spoken on a million times, is just, it's awesome. What you've done with the resources that you have is great. I think that the marketing could be a little different, and I think the resources that you took for that collab could maybe go into something else. Like, for instance, I still don't understand why in the like white black colorway or the black white colorway, why I can't get a low unless I go to Unisport, right? That's something that still bugs me. I'm like, why can't I just go to your website, type in Tequila, and get the one that I want? Why is it behind? Like, why do I have to go to Unisport for that and pay like this shipping and all this other stuff? But I don't really know what their plan is for marketing. I think they have a great product, and overall, I think if this boot doesn't sell, I think they'll learn from it and say like, okay, that collab didn't really work. Like, let's try something else.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that a big problem that I feel like a lot of these smaller brands have is the availability of their boots. Like, if you want the low Tequilas, you basically have to go to Unisport. If you want Mizunos, you have to go to soccer.com, it feels like. So some boots, it's just, it's kind of a pain in the butt, especially being in the U.S. and these are Europe companies. But I think, like you said, if New Balance made it to where the all white, the all black Tequilas were available, it's only that boot, I think, that you can't buy. Yeah. You can buy the laceless one. But if they made those more available, I think that they would see a grow in popularity for sure.
Right. And I know that we talked about this last time too, but it was almost like we were all itching for a colorway. So when they were teasing that, I was excited. I was like, good. We've only had in these plus models the white and the black, and then the navy and the light blue, and that's it.
That's it.
And I think they revamped the plus earlier this year, maybe January, February. So
yeah, it's funny that you say it too, because we talk about how the Pred is like overkill. And it's just pumping it feels like there's a new Pred colorway every other week. And then meanwhile, New Balance.
Because there is.
Yeah, New Balance is like, we'll take our time.
Give it a couple more months.
We gave you 3 colorways.
Come on,
that'll
what
last
do you kids want?
Yeah, we'll give you this summer. But I mean, even the pros, like I've seen Harvey Elliott is still pretty much wearing the white outs.
The whites. Bukayo Saka is still wearing the whites.
Bukayo's wearing the whites. So it's just kind of. And hey, I mean, people, we have friends like Lockhart and James the Boot Wizard over on the Football Boot Hour say that brands need to stop pushing so many colorways. And I agree with that to an extent, but I feel like New Balance is kind of too minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
being a little too conservative with it. Like, just give us 1-2 more. Like, I think I don't think that's too much to ask for. And give it to us in the actual models that we want. Because I think most people at this point who have tried the low and the Tequila, like, that's the model to go for me. So, yeah, laceless isn't really hitting it. So,
and I mean, even if you think about the low as a whole, I only remember before the V4 Plus, you had, in general release, you had what? The copper ones, purple black ones.
And then you had the signature colorway for Tim Weah, so it was white.
Tim Weah
and New York,
the Harvey Elliott's.
Right.
So you had 4, and that was it. And 2 of them were, special editions.
Right.
So yeah, it's real weird. Again, and even with the regular V4, they didn't have too many colorways.
No.
So I mean, even before the low came out,
they
just
had
in general.
They had a sick white V4 laceless colorway that I really liked.
Yeah, the white and silver one.
I tried that out. There wasn't enough lockdown. I love the colorway of those boots. It looked like you were wearing a pair of. My friend showed up to the game that I was in. He's like, "Dude, I thought you were wearing a pair of socks." I was like, basically.
Those were crispy clean. I remember when you had those. Okay, so speaking of knits, we have seen test pictures, test footage, release footage of the brand new Nike Mercurial Vapor 16 and I think Superfly 10. Okay, so the big commotion that's going on right now is Nike is pushing Gripknit with the Mercurial. How do you feel about that?
Well, obviously, I'm familiar with it, right? So are you, because you've had you've had these, but you've also had like the OG GX ones. I think that Gripknit was marketed to us as somewhat of a control element, right? It goes into that control boot category, and Mercurial, we're hitting the speed boot category. I mean, you've obviously kept up more with Mercurial than I have. Has there ever been sort of any, I mean, other than like maybe, I don't even know if they've had rubber elements, like other elements that make the boot more of a control, more raised, anything?
No. It's always been about being as smooth as possible. There's never been anything that pops up on a Mercurial. Yeah, no. It's always been like a swimmer's cap, like as tight to your foot as possible.
Yeah, tight to your foot. So to me, and I know that James and Lockhart talked about this, and Lockhart, of course, was like, shocker, brand saves money. You take the proprietary material that you already have, you slap it on something new, you call it a day. This is, I mean, it is very good, and I think I've told you this before, that it's just the GX2 is just such a well-fitting boot. They could take the grip elements off, maybe even just leave the raised elements, and I'd still think it was a great, comfortable boot. So it just depends on how they place it, right? Because if there's only grip elements on certain parts of the boot, like maybe just like the medial side or whatever, to make it more, grippy, like the inside of a Predator, I could see that. I don't know if they should, I don't know exactly where it is. I don't know if they need to put it over the entire upper of the boot, because then it's like, what separates a Vapor 16 from this?
Yeah.
Other than it being more narrow.
Yeah. I think that's the issue. And so for me, like, well, to continue that, so one problem I always had with the GT model was the GT was basically just a wide Vapor 13. They were both flying it. That was kind of the main difference between them. The Merc was a little more structured, yes, but overall they were kind of the same boot. So my fear is that the new Mercurial and the Phantom are going to kind of blend. But I don't remember when it came out, but it was with the GX1, and one of the engineers talked about how Gripknit came from the Ultra series, like the Flyknit Ultra and the Phantom Ultra, right? And he was saying that Gripknit is essentially, instead of having Flyknit with the ACC coating over it to make it weatherproof, it's built into it. So I think that the Gripknit that they use on the Merc is going to be different enough. But I think Gripknit is like their new way of branding ACC. Like, I think ACC is going to be on the pro models, because we started to see like
we did
with the GX
with the
indoor. So I think that like Gripknit is going to be how like, oh, I had the top model. it's just it's a new material. I basically think it's just going to be Flyknit that's coated, so that way it's weatherproofed and stuff. But overall, my thing is I want the boots to have very separate entities, and I think that's where you run the risk with knit. But then again, we say that, but then if we travel back in time, at one point the Mercurial, the T90 Laser 4, and the CTR Maestri 2 were all a synthetic, and we never had any issue with that. You know, when all the boots were synthetic. Or even if you look at Adidas, you had the F50, the Predator, like LZ, whichever model, the Nitro Charge. They're all synthetic. They're all kind of samey. There's like small differences. So I think that the raised elements, and I think that the Phantom's going to be wider and have a more aggressive grip knit than the Mercurial.
I think so too. I think that's their whole marketing with these, is that it's all over, and that's what people talk about. Like I've heard Noah talk about, he likes the consistency of it being all over. I wouldn't mind if it was just on, like, I know with the GX1 it was just kind of on the front, and then here I wouldn't even mind if it was just on the medial side. And I actually prefer the Pred more because it's not as sticky on the lateral side. I think I've talked to you. It doesn't. You just have to get used to it. It's just an element to get used to. So I think with the Merc, it's like, well, kind of like you said, how much can we market a change to show that this model is different? So sole plate obviously is different. Look, it reminds you, what did you say, of like the 2015
F50?
Adi Zeros?
Yeah.
Sorry, F50s. So, and then the other thing they're going to market is Gripknit. So it's like how many... We move the air, it's so ultimately it does look very different from the current model. And yeah, so I'm thinking they're just checking boxes and saying like, okay, change here, change here, change here, change here. Awesome. Like it's completely different from the last model that it replaces.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, I know that some of the guys in our group are not sold, but overall as a Mercurial model, I think it is super cool because like if we look at, like, to me, which one is it? The Phantom Ultra, you remember those? Like the blackout, and it had like the orange on one of them, and then the other one was pink. Do you remember the Hypervenom Ultras or whatever?
Hypervenom Ultra. Let me
yeah,
look that
it's
up
like
real
the
quick.
Nike Phantom. I think it's like the Phantom Ultra, but it was like the Hypervenom 3 sole plate, and it was like the GT upper.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
I do remember these.
Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
if you look at those boots, for example, a lot of that technology, they say, went into the GX. But if you really look at the boots, it looks more GX2, where it's raised up. It's got that great knit. To me, the Flyknit Ultra, so the Mercurial version from way back then, has kind of led to this boot, in my opinion. It's got the same materials. It's got a raised bit more. It's got that sandpapery grit. So, again, I think that this is going to be really similar to when the Vapor 8 was out, and then when ACC came out with the Maestri, and then they started putting it, and it had a different feeling on the Vapor 8. That's kind of what I think they're going for with this new Vapor 16.
Yeah, going to I remember ACC coming out around Legend 4 because they kind of said that they coated it with that, they put it on there, and that was for weather conditions, right? It was if you're playing in wet conditions, you're not going to. It's gonna feel the same as if you're playing. I mean, theoretically, you're not gonna notice too much of a difference between playing in dry conditions. So now that they're putting it on the pro models and putting it on some turf models, like what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that just? That used to be the joke. Is what is ACC if you can't see it, right? Is it even there if they don't put it on there for you? So it's just kind of funny to me now that they're putting it on turf boots, which is essentially an indoor thing. Well,
that's even like my my Superfly turfs, my Ronaldo pair. They have ACC because they just took the upper from the top in one. Okay. So again, I think Nike has done this for a long time, but they kind of take like their top tier boot, and then when the new model comes out, the old top tier becomes like the second tier. And they kind of shift it down, and like that's basically how the life goes. So it doesn't surprise me that the pro models are going to be the Flyknit branding and the ACC branding. And again, I think Nike is just trying to make this a way to make it very obvious which model you're buying, because to an average consumer, they don't fucking know. Most people don't know. And so I think it's just another way to be like, hey, our pro models, they're also like very good, like the Tiempo. Like if you don't know, you don't know. So I think that's kind of going to be where they go with it.
Yeah, I could see that. And it makes you want to, like, if you're buying a takedown model, you want to have some features on there too, not just, because you're still paying $100 plus for a pro model. So
yeah. So, and again, I'm excited as long as it maintains a different identity than the Phantom. I think that'll be huge. So I think that's what they need to keep. But that sole plate looks fire to me. I know a couple of guys are worried. I love that sole plate. I'm so hyped for it.
Yeah. Speaking of wild sole plates, Unisport unveiled, well, I don't want to say they unveiled, but they teased a Puma Ultra 5 prototype.
Oh, yeah.
Which had carbon fiber on the bottom. It had this crazy directional stud pattern going everywhere. What did you think of that reveal? I
think it's a wicked looking boot. I mean, that's like a true concept boot. You know, when we talk about that, like the original 99 grams, some of those old boots that you're like, you could
They're
never
just gonna
really
fall
wear
apart
it.
after one wear.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what this boot is going to be. I think it's like limited to like 10 pairs. It's F1 inspired, so it's very like fast. But I mean, as a concept boot, like that looks super cool. So if the new Ultra is anything close to that boot, I might give that a shot.
Yeah. I don't know about that stud pattern though, man.
Dude, that stud pattern is
going all different. I'm afraid of chevron studs, dude. So I would lace those up and tear my ACL.
I'm gonna say that those look like they have some bite.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can't wait to see Noah wear them on turf and let us know how unsafe they are.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But no, I think overall it's cool. I think it's called the Carbon. I think it's called the Puma Ultra 5 Carbon. But that sole plate looks super cool. And, we talked about how a lot of brands have gone away from carbon fiber. So it's interesting that Puma has given this super rare one like a crazy looking carbon fiber sole plate.
Is that the way to, okay, so because we've shit on Puma a lot on this podcast. I know other podcasts have as well. Would that be a way to bring because Adidas is bringing everybody back with nostalgia and with the Pred tongue. Could the next Puma Ultra, if they added carbon fiber, bring a lot more people back to the brand and back to that speed boot?
I think it could in a way because it's going to come off as more premium. I think one of the big positives that Puma's always had is the price because they've always been a little bit cheaper. But I think that the thing that Puma needs to worry about more than anything is putting out a good boot that looks good.
Yes.
They're very, I've said it before, they're very divisive with what their styling and their performance of their boots. So I think like if the next, like to me, the boot that they have like the most going right now is the Future. All it needs is a different sole plate. It's just, that sole plate's insane. And we've talked about it to death.
Right.
So if that had a different sole plate, it'd be phenomenal.
I agree. It's a good boot. They keep manipulating, I think, the wrong things with it. Like I'll be honest, I don't care about power tape. I don't care how that power tape is placed. I literally could care less. I do appreciate the fact that the collar's knit, that it's a comfortable boot, that it's a wide boot. Just put it on something I can actually wear on FG and AG, especially if you're going to market it like that. I know we've talked about this a million times, so
yeah, we don't have to beat
a dead point there. Right.
Yeah, no, again, and it's like everybody's like racing to have like their thing, and the power tape is like not the thing.
No,
like
it's not.
It's super gimmicky. It clearly comes across as being gimmicky. Like the power, like if you think about power tape, it started on the heel of the last generation Ultra. So it's like, and with the last gen Future, I thought it was a little better, but now, being over the laces, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there's something there functionally that, because I know that they changed the lacing on it and they made them a little bit wider, maybe less lace holes. I haven't tried it, but it's aesthetically doesn't look good to me, guys. Like the zigzag was okay. Even then I was kind of like, but yeah, like you said, they've got to make a boot that looks good, that it's just different enough to bring us all back over. Yeah. So I mean, I think that they need like to pull like a 2014, 2015 Adidas and wipe their lines and just kind of, or like how New Balance did, like, hey, we're scrapping everything, let's start over. Like I think that Puma could really benefit from that. I don't think the King is the worst, but I think it definitely needs like a lot of adjustments to its fit. The Future,
The sole plate on the King's actually pretty
it's
good.
just again, they each have their own issues and they each need. So I think it would just be smart if Puma's like, hey, even if they want to keep the names, whatever, but they need to go back to the drawing board with all
Scrap
three.
all of
like,
them.
All right, here's what we're coming out with. Like, let's find our thing, and their thing is not power tape.
Yeah, they just got way too far off course. I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting too far off course, last week we talked about how they were going to release the 30th anniversary of the Nike Tiempo, right, with their Tiempo Legend 10.
Yep.
And they released it in this emerald colorway. What do you, now that you've seen it on players, you've seen it on sites, like, you're actually a fan of this boot in the colorway.
Yeah, dude.
Correct?
That colorway looks so gorgeous. I love that. I don't know what color that is. It's like what is it called? Dark atomic teal, I think is the official color. That shit needs to be on every color.
Oh god.
I love it's so different, bro. It's so different.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it.
I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people do. It reminds me of there was this the going out colorway of the Tiempo Legend 8 was like an aqua marine something, and it was kind of like that, and this is sort of in that same color range, but then it's like shiny, and so when you see it on players, it just looks like they're wearing like this shiny, like weird looking kind of emerald.
Stunning.
I can't get on board with that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. I know that you're waiting for like the reverse colorway where it's just the swoosh is like that color.
Yeah, except I'll be bankrupt by the Trent Preds. So
probably. But
got to pick one or the other.
I'm curious to see how that like quilted blanket texturing compared to the other texturing, if it feels any different. Like, there's none of the little rubber dots on it. I mean, I am genuinely curious to see if it feels any different. I doubt it will.
Yeah.
Just it's probably embossed, but it looks
I'm sure.
cool. It looks cool.
It looks like something. Definitely.
I think that's a boot where if you love it, if you like that color, you're gonna love that boot. And if you don't like it, you're just not gonna love it. But that's definitely like you will stand out, even though it's kind of greenish and you're on a green field. That's just a weird colorway that'll catch your eye.
You know something I like about you and I is that you love a colorway. I hate the colorway.
Yes.
I love a colorway. You hate the colorway. And I've seen this multiple times because I showed you, and I'll put a picture up on screen here, the Nike Safari for Ronaldo, right? Back in, I can't even remember what it was, like 2010, 2011. And then they redid it for the Vapor 13 in 2020.
Yep.
And now they're going to redo it again on the Tiempo Legend 10.
It just
and
makes
I've seen
no
the
sense.
photos.
It makes
But it
no
looks
sense.
Cool.
It does not.
I don't know why they're putting it on a Tiempo. I don't, and it's associated with Ronaldo, so I have no idea why they're Nike. Whatever. I just like again like I like the way that boot looks.
Yeah, and you also liked those Preds that were like white, gray, and gold leopard. That haven't come. We don't even know if they're real yet. We're still trying to figure out if those are real. But you love those too, and I was just like, these are so tacky.
Yeah. I just like white gold elements, dude. They even with the weird leopard spots, like maybe I just like animal skin on boots. Just start putting like leopard pattern and putting it in a weird color.
It's
and I'll
so
start
funny
buying
because
those.
you like bright boots. Like I feel like you're always like, yeah, I like white boots. I like white boots, and you do. We both love white boots.
Yeah.
But like even looking at your wall, like those Tiempos you have, I think are the worst colorway of that Tiempo.
Oh no, these are cool.
Oh,
bro.
the Peak Ready. Like I think on the Tiempo it looks. Oh, I think that looks so terrible.
Yeah, these are the two brightest boots I have.
Yeah,
and it's weird because it's like I love like a white base, and then these two, boom.
Yeah,
Just
no,
awesome.
I don't like that. I'm trying to like if you look at my wall, like certain
you got a lot of
boots, I do like my reds and pinks, but it's like overall like this is like kind of flashy, and like that's about like the flashiest I'm wearing. But like overall, I wear pretty. I like white, gold, black, silver, like pretty bling.
Right. Yeah. This is flashy for. I was definitely
those are bright boots.
Brightest. Yeah. I didn't realize how much until I had them in real life. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to perform today. I'm gonna look like a douchebag.
Oh, fun fact. So, like that old myth that it's like, oh, if they wear bright boots, like they got to be a baller, or like pink boots. I was playing at my outdoor game this past Friday, and we passed some random guy. He wasn't even on like either team, that my team or the other team, but we like passed by a guy and he had bright boots. And like 4 of my teammates were like, I bet you that guy's a baller. Like you got to be a baller to wear like bright pink like that. And I was like, that's a real thing. Like people really do think that. And that's why I don't wear gold.
Because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And you shouldn't.
No, you should not.
You're not worthy.
I'm not. You've seen me play. I am not. I need to have blackout Diodoras kind of player. Another thing that we saw kind of unveiled earlier today, it was those rainbow colored Puma Futures that Endo was wearing. Yeah. Cool. Whatever.
Cool. Yeah.
I think they're like Japan only.
Yeah, that's what Lockhart said. The Future, they need to scrap this model early. Like, if there was a time to just scrap these generation, this is the time. And I don't know who I feel like both their poster boys too. Like, is Neymar? Neymar hasn't really played in a long time. Jack Grealish is fighting with Jeremy Doku over a starting position. Like, I think that Puma just needs to, like, they just need to revamp. They need to figure it out.
But I just feel like overall, like you don't really see the poster boys for Puma. Like I have to think, and I know certain players because I watch those teams. But like for the Ultra, is Griezmann still the poster boy?
I don't know because I freaking defenders wear the only players I think of that wear the Ultra are like Kyle Walker, Harry Maguire, Varane. Like the whole freaking Man U back line wears
that
Ultras.
Beyblade, that Brazilian Beyblade wears them all the time.
Oh, he does?
He does wear those.
I don't know. Christian Pulisic wears Ultras, but it doesn't make me want to killing it, Milan.
Yeah, no. Oh, that's not saying a lot. Yeah, I don't know. That they need to figure out. Like Puma's got to figure out something, man. We need to have like a whole episode on how we could fix the Puma.
Yeah,
we should do that for the people and have people send us stuff. But it's just like I really think about it, and it's like the biggest name they've had in a while was Neymar, and then like who? I mean, even some of the people that they gave signature boots to, just not. They're great players. Don't get me wrong, but it's like not everybody talks about what Balotelli. Cesc Fabregas, who else? Aguero and Marco Reus. Like those are the big names I can think of. Griezmann.
Yeah, Griezmann.
That's all.
This was later in the latter part of the career, but Suarez switched over to Puma. He wears the Futures right now at Inter Miami, and he wore them at
I didn't
Atletico.
even know that. I thought he still wore Adidas.
No, he wears Pumas now.
Oh, okay.
So,
but that Puma. Again, we're beating a dead horse. What else have we seen that's coming up that we're excited about?
I don't. Okay, so this is. Let's talk about the Predator remake, the '94 remake that. Has essentially disappeared from the face of the earth.
Yeah, I literally posted about that earlier today. I don't even remember why I thought about it, but yeah, like, who was it that had it? Was it Soccer Junkie? I think Soccer Junkie originally had it. He unveiled it. And the new Soccer Shop got it. And then I think he sold it to somebody. And that's the last I've ever heard of that boot. Was like 2 random resellers had it. And then that's it. Nobody's ever posted anything about it. Adidas has never come out with anything. I don't know if maybe that's going to be a Euro thing. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I remember seeing pictures of it. That upper looked kind of cheap to me, dude. And they used the same. I believe they used the same sole plate as this spread, but like the upper materials just didn't look great to me. It's kind of similar to the 11 Pro remake, where it was like not the greatest quality. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they scrapped it because of that. Maybe they're having like issues with the materials breaking.
Maybe. I don't know.
Just speculation.
And maybe, I mean, again, we're still waiting on the Euros. Supposedly, the Rotero is inspired by the Euros, but it's come out months early, so I don't even think this is going to be in the Euros. So I don't know, but this is the 30th anniversary of the Pred, so surely that remake has to come out some point. But we've heard that remake is supposed to come out. We've seen leaks of the Champagne Mania is supposed to come out.
Yep. And
then we've also heard that the Japan Blue is supposed to be remade again.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah.
We haven't had a remake, a true remake. What was the last one we had?
What was after the Precisions?
No, that was the last one. Was the Precisions?
Was that the last one?
Yeah, the David Beckham
Okay.
Precisions. I think that was the last one.
Yeah. So
it's been a minute, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the last one.
We need those Champagne Manias.
Yeah, dude.
Quickly.
I would buy those. I was still after the Chip Can Blues. I've always been after those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, like the Rotero is so cool. I'm really surprised that they didn't do a remake with the Pulse that these are based on.
Yeah, I mean I think they're just making money hand over fist right now. Like you said, they're just sticking. I mean, if everybody's buying FT Preds, like why do anything special to? Because like I feel like a lot of times remakes are put in between, maybe like mid cycles to sort of build hype back up.
Yeah,
and they don't have to do that.
Yeah,
they don't
true.
have to do that because everything they put out sells out just like that.
And part of me wonders if a lot of the remakes and bring back tongues and stuff was like to get hype around this model, not the Rotero specifically, but this new Predator. Kind of start people be like, oh yeah, I missed the tongue and I missed this and I missed that. And part of me wonders if maybe that's kind of long term, like that's what Adidas was planning to build. So it's really interesting. Yeah. And then we'll see if we ever get another Nike remake ever again.
No,
because we've had two, right?
They had the opportunity to do the 94 Premier Tiempo, and they just slapped another colorway on a Premier 3 and called it a day. So, no, they won't do that.
Yeah. Even with this 30th anniversary Tiempo, I'm really surprised they didn't even do a calf leather.
This was probably the most disappointing like for your 30th anniversary, it's probably the most I mean, I know that you like the colorway, but in terms of people that actually like Tiempo and the leather quality and everything that has happened before, maybe even like pre Tiempo Legend 4.
This should have been the 30th anniversary Tiempo.
Yes.
The Montebelluna.
That's good quality still, man.
Yeah, I stopped wearing them.
Yeah. That's the best boot. One of the best boots ever made.
So
in your hands, right there.
Yeah, with the worst fucking liner.
Worst insole.
This to me should have been the 30th anniversary of the Tiempo, and this should have been what they ended it with. I still stand by that.
That would be. You know what would be cool is if they held all those. We never knew about them.
Yeah.
And
what if that came out now?
That would be nuts. If they released the MI today, oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Boy.
Oh. Yeah, that to me should have been or something like that should have been the 30th.
Yeah, I agree.
I think because I mean, last time I checked this out, they came out this morning, the 30th anniversary. I think they're still available in almost every size.
Yeah,
throughout different websites.
they're never. I mean, they're gonna be so much. There's gonna be so much stock in the. I have no idea how they're gonna course correct. This might be the last Tiempo
I think it has to be, man. That boot, losing. And that's the thing. It's like. It's not a bad boot. It's really not. It's just not a Tiempo.
Yeah, it's not a Tiempo, and it has a certain type of fit. Kind of like the Pred, like it doesn't even fit the same.
No.
Like if you have a wider foot, you're gonna get the GX2. Like you're not gonna get the Tiempo, but
that's a horse we've beaten to death a million times.
Yeah. Beating a lot of horses today.
Dude, we love to do it. Not really. That's animal cruelty. We love animals.
Yeah, we love animals.
Is there anything else you want to throw out there, Colby, before we get out of here?
No, man, it's been a good episode. I think the next episode is going to be more exciting because I feel like we're predicting things and then a week goes by and we kind of get a little bit and then we get a little bit more. So this is an exciting time.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of in the lull season because I think brands are getting ready for the Euros. And I think once the Euros are getting closer, we have like a little over a month.
Right.
Once that gets closer, I think like it's really going to build. So hopefully next week you'll be able to show off some beautiful Trents. I will give the people the Rotero update that they have not asked for, and we'll see what else we have on the horizon. Tell the people, Colby, where they can find you.
You can find me at Kicking It With Colbs on YouTube and on Instagram.
You can find me at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram and now YouTube. I still only have one video, and I was politely told that I need a new mic. So I'm working on getting a mic, I promise. Once I get a mic, I'll do more videos. But with that, man, I think we're going to get out of here.
All right, brother.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.